Okay. Wow. Hello, everyone to the study. I hope everyone's had a good week. I know I have. It's been a busy one for me, but I am so happy to be here. I know I missed you guys last Thursday, and anywho, but that doesn't mean that I was not working on trying to put something together for us, you guys. And well, I think I've got something put together today, and well, let's see how it goes.
All right, we're on.
So let me just start by trying to just share a little bit um, about my just a little bit about me, and I guess just kind of how I ended up where I am now. So you may or may not know that a little bit of my background here. I went to a school that specifically focuses on ministry, right? How to do ministry. Fantastic school. I have no regret going. I always make sure to mention that. I have no regret going. I learned a lot, and but like I went to the school, and I witnessed so many beautiful things, you guys. Like I witnessed people being healed, right? Being delivered, both like through me, right, and also through my colleagues. And this was during a time in my life when I had recently discovered the gifts of the Spirit. Like I wasn't at that moment of my life. I really wasn't too sure if it was real. That makes sense. Like I had a lot of I was skeptical in many ways, but I wanted to not be, which was part of the desire of wanting to go to the school, because I had heard about the miracles and different like signs and wonders that would happen, and by gosh, if it was real, like I wanted to be there. I wanted to be there, and I wanted to see it, firsthand. And as I was going through the school, I ended up sort of like reaching a point which was, I don't know, that I guess that could be a good thing, or it could be a not so great thing. But I ended up reaching a point during the school where
I don't know, maybe I'm not even on the right.
Hang on, see if I can. There we go. And so when okay, repeating myself again, I reached the point where in the school where I realized, like, man, it almost felt like I was unstoppable, guys. Like I there was almost like I could do no wrong. In the sense of like, it was like whatever I touched, or whomever I touched, whomever I prayed for, it was like they were going to be touched by God. And that was the kind of confidence I had. And in I don't know, like if maybe it did happen, maybe it didn't. Maybe people did get healed, maybe they didn't. I don't know, but I sure knew what I believed. And I knew that when I was going to pray for someone, healing was going to happen. whether it be right on the spot or if it was, a few weeks later or months later or a year later, like I had no doubt. So in a way, it was almost like I had this figured out. It was almost like I had this belief thing figured out. And then wasn't too long after that when I came back to my hometown, when I realized that it didn't always pan out the way that it did while I was in school. It was just I would just get contradicted a lot, or I would the excitement of wanting to I don't know, call it like just a belief excitement, like the expectancy excitement was just different than what I remembered, at school. And so call it, maybe beliefs, call it maybe like these in some ways like spiritual laws, so to speak, right? Like if I implemented these certain things, the outcome was going to be these particular spiritual outcomes, right? That makes sense, guys? And so yeah, and so I learned the hard way that wasn't the case outside of the environment that I was in while at school. And boy, man, I'll tell you what, it wasn't too long after I got back from the school, when I came back to my hometown, that I basically just crashed and burned for the idea of church, right? And I mean, I was just completely frustrated. I was disappointed, to say the least, in myself. First and foremost, I was so disappointed in myself. And then I was also, disappointed with the church, both locally and at large, And it just ended up, like, what ended up happening for me personally is that I just lost all desire to participate with the church body. I guess you could call it, I was burnt out. I was burnt out. And after burning out, it was sort of like I still believed in something. I believed in someone. I believed that there's God there. I didn't necessarily completely abandon Christianity. It's just that I just didn't know what was up and what was down. I didn't know what was right and what was left. I mean, I was just in limbo, if you will, for the longest time. And but I don't know. So it was just that I had this, while I was going through to the school, and while I went through the school, and when I came back from school, I just had this this bent inside of me of just really just wanting to, make things happen. I really wanted to, I wanted to perform, I felt like this obligation of wanting to, conjure up the spirit, so to speak, and to prove myself. And all of that just, again, it just led to frustration. And then, and then after that, maybe I'm going to say around 10 to 12 years passed by. And it was as if like the Lord just kind of gently began to just, soften me up a little bit, soften my heart a little bit through friends and family, um, and so fast forward much into the future again, and here we are. Ta-da. And so I'm saying all of this because I think that there's something that the Lord did, not just in my life, but what's recorded both in Matthew and Luke. I'll read the Luke version just for fun. Just a second, I'm going to turn the page there. So Luke chapter 4. And I'll just read, I'll just start reading here, chapter 4. So then Jesus left the Jordan, full of the Holy Spirit, and was led by the Spirit in the wilderness for 40 days to be tempted by the devil. He ate nothing during those days. And when they were over, he was hungry. And the devil said to him, "If you are the Son of God, tell this stone to become bread." And so as it goes on, but Jesus answered him, "It is written, man must not live on bread alone." So he took him up and he showed him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. The devil said to him, I'll give you their splendor and all this authority because it has been given over to me and I can give it to anyone I want. If you then will worship me, all will be yours. And Jesus answered to him, it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only. So he took him to Jerusalem, had him stand on the pinnacle of the temple, and said to him, "If you're the Son of God, throw yourself down from here, for it is written, he will give his angels orders concerning you to protect you and will support you with their hands so that you will not strike your foot against a stone." And Jesus answered to him, "It is said, do not test the Lord your God." After the devil had finished every temptation, he departed from him for a time. And so I think that there's what I see there, especially right towards the end, is that I see Christ doing something there so something just so valuable and important for the human race, for all of cosmos, really. Even this little passage, for me anyways, as I read it today, it proves to me anyways, to me, you guys, all right, it proves to me just how much of a counter gospel mindset that I had, although unaware. All right, I was unaware. Like I genuinely thought that that I was doing something good. I was doing something great, and in some ways I was. But as I read that little passage there, I realized just how counter gospel that what I was doing was. And so here's the picture, so Jesus gets had been baptized, and and so we see that the father then says, this is my son, I'm well pleased with, basically endorses who Christ is at baptism. And shortly after that, he purposely turns toward the desert to spend 40 days without food or water. Mind you, like as I'm seeing this, right, like Christ is incarnation. He perfect God, perfect humanity, all wrapped up into one being. And so he purposefully turns toward the desert. And it's not just any desert. This is can I just say, this is our desert. Can I say that he purposefully turned toward our desert? And while he's in this desert, I see this beautiful picture of Jesus conquering our fallen, do-it-yourself mindset. Likewise, he's also addressing our identity issue, right? Because we don't know, we really didn't know who we are, right? And and even though he's doing that, right? So he's entering into our human mindset. He's combating this devil, this nasty dual-minded mindset of separation. That, well, honestly, I mean, that's the whole issue from the beginning, right? Adam and Eve, hiding, trying to hide. Adam, where are you? And he turns into it, guided by the Spirit. And he faces these things, face to face. Never, and as he's doing it, right, he never loses sight of who he is. 100% knows who he is. He knows why he's there. He, like the Father just got done, endorsing who he is. So you see, right, like, so the devil tempts him with his identity, testing the word of God, testing his power, right, his dominion, what's already his to begin with, the kingdoms. And so I think that, it's, okay, well, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I'm trying not to. let me recap. So he had nothing to eat, nothing to drink. In some respects, right? In some respect, I think that you could say that he was in that moment destitute. I mean that he went without basic needs in life. He was in a desert without food or water. I mean, likewise, you might could even say that he, he was poor, in the sense that he made himself lower than the angels. Right? So he went from royalty to pauper. He went from immortal to mortal. He's light that went into darkness. And he just didn't do it just for fun. I mean, I'm sure he he did it for a reason. He did it to rescue us, right? He did it so that we mortals shall become immortal. He became like us so that we could become like him. I'm getting to the point. I'm getting to why I'm saying everything that I am saying. And I think it's going to make for some really fun conversation with you guys. So it wasn't too long after this, after the 40 days, right? It wasn't too long after that then Jesus delivers this beautiful verse. And this is the moment. This is the moment. He says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." That's it. That's it. So here we see, the picture in this scene here is that he's up on a mount, on a mountain, and he sees the crowd, and the crowd's coming to him, and in knowing that they were coming, he's teaching them. And the very first verse that's recorded of him saying on that mountain is, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." So Jesus does the impossible. And for me, like, this is where, when Paul says the following in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, and he says it just like this. And so it was with me, brothers and sisters, when I came to you, did not come with eloquence or human wisdom, as I proclaimed to you God's mystery. For I resolved to know nothing while I was with you except Jesus Christ and him crucified. I came to you in weakness, with great fear and trembling. My message and my preaching were not with wise and persuasive words, but with a demonstration of the Spirit's power, so that your faith might not rest on human wisdom, but on God's power. Wow. So, you guys, that, yeah, I think so. I think that's where I would like to stop. All right.